From Duncan Park in Hartford, Connecticut, Nesson presents Hartford Yard Goats Baseball. It's opening day, and the Yard Goats host the New York Yankees affiliate, the Somerset Patriots. And good evening, everybody. Well, Dan Lavallo, Jeff Dooley with you. Happy opening day. And Dan, this day means so much to so many around baseball.
It really does, Jeff, and it means a lot in Hartford because for years the dream was to return professional baseball to Hartford, and I can't believe it. Here we are in year 10.
As we look at the Yard Goats roster, 15 players that returned from last year's playoff group combined with 13 newcomers, and one of the newcomers was the MVP of the Northwest League, Kyle Karros. That Karros name may ring a bell.
Absolutely. His dad played in the major leagues with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I know Kyle is excited to be here. He was talking about it the other day, but when we asked him who his favorite player was growing up, it wasn't his dad. It was Justin Turner.
That's right, Justin Turner, a fan favorite of him for sure. Well, as we look at this Somerset lineup, Spencer Jones, one of the top prospects in the game, back in the lineup for Somerset this year.
Well, that's a bit of a surprise. Some thought he would be up at the AAA level. He'll get there, but I'll tell you what, he wore out Yard Goats pitching last year, including a 453-foot home run in Game 1 of last season's playoffs.
Jen, as you look at the mound matchup tonight, Gabriel Hughes will make the start for the Yard Goats. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. Pitched a little bit for Hartford in 2023. He feels good. He pitched in the spring breakout game for the Rockies, and a lot of hype around Hughes.
Well, Jeff, he's a former first-round pick of the Rockies. That's why there is a lot of hype. And in fact, he had a very good campaign in the Arizona Fall League, and in spring training impressed Rockies manager Bud Black to the extent where he actually started the second game of the exhibition season for the Rocks.
Cam Schlittler will pitch for the Somerset Patriots. He's a Massachusetts native, pitched at Northeastern up in Boston.
The Yard Goats are very familiar with Schlittler, but also he is on the radar screen for the New York Yankees. In fact, he is the 12th ranked prospect in the Yankees organization and was voted the Yankees minor league pitcher of the year last season.
All right, up next we will visit with Yard Goats manager Bobby Meacham. That and much more as we continue from Duncan Park. It's opening day here on Nesson. And welcome back to Yard Goats Baseball from Duncan Park. Jeff Dooley joined by the 2024 Eastern League Manager of the Year, Bobby Meacham. And Bobby, welcome back to Hartford for another season.
Oh, great to be back, Jeff. And, new season, 2025. We'll see how good we can do this year.
Let's take one look back to 2024. Remarkable year. First ever playoff team. 7 guys from the Goats go to the big leagues. What are you most proud of when you look back to 2024?
I didn't realize 7. That's amazing. That's it. That's the most, that's what we're here for. It's what I'm here for, is to help these guys get better, figure out how they can get better, and really just show them the way to work and how to consistently do that. So to see that many guys get to the leagues, that's definitely the number one thing for me, is to not only we made the playoffs, but individuals getting to the major leagues. That's the biggest for me.
Bobby, talk about this year's team and some of the talent that Yard Goat fans will get a chance to see here in 2025.
Yeah, I think I was talking earlier about a couple guys in the clubhouse that they got cheated. They didn't get to see Benny Montgomery, but for maybe 10 or 11 games, something like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this year. I'm looking forward some of the new guys, Karros. Some people already know that name. His dad played in the big leagues for a long time, and and I'm looking forward to see how he does. He was the player of the year in the league last year in high A ball. Also looking forward to see some of these starting pitchers. Hughes is unbelievable. I saw him two spring trainings ago before his injury. I think he had an elbow injury, and now he's back and going to be our opening day starter. So we have a couple guys like that in the rotation. Mahoney, another righty that I got to see for the first time this spring, comes to mind. So there's a few exciting players to watch. A lot of new faces. A lot of our guys are moved up, which is a great goal to see come true, moving up to the next level or the big league level. So, but the new guys are great. They won in Spokane last year, and a lot of them did, and I'm looking forward to bringing them out here to help us win here.
Tell us a little bit more about Gabriel Hughes, your opening night pitcher for the season.
Yeah, one of the main things I saw 2 years ago was how hard he threw his hard-throwing righty. But it was important to see again this spring was how that was going to see after an injury. What I was going to see was he's still hard throwing righty, but he also had some, I don't know how you explain, but things locked up in his brain of how to do it, how to pitch out there. He's not just throwing, he's pitching. He's not just out there just throwing pitches, he's holding runners. He's backing up bases. He's doing all the little things I saw in spring training, a few innings in pitching, but every time I saw him pitch, there was something new that he did that was more than just throwing a baseball. It was about winning a game. It was about being in the right spots. It was about helping his team win. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that again here this season.
Bobby, what do you think will be the strength of this team?
Starting pitching. I do. Starting pitching, and I think we got a lot of players, also position players that actually know how to play the game. So I think we'll see a lot less mistakes on the bases. I think we'll see an aggressive style on the bases. And the starting pitching, along with the defense, was outstanding all spring. So you can only defense changes as years go along, but I'm hoping that it bears out during the season too, because the pitching's really good. Like I said, I think you're gonna see a really exciting team on the bases and a real good defensive team.
Opening day in baseball means so much to so many. I think in New England it means warm weather is on the way. But talk about opening day, a special day for a manager. Yeah,
it's funny. I was talking about opening days the other day with some of the guys in the clubhouse, and I really don't remember as a player, the opening days that much. I mean, I really remember mostly as a manager and a coach, just hanging out, watching these guys go out there and get through the nerves of that first game and have success, hopefully, and come home with smiles on their face, right? So hopefully it'll be the same, more of the same this first game here, opening day, Friday night, and we'll go out here and put some smiles on faces in the seats and in the dugout.
Best of luck tonight, every night. Appreciate the time, Bobby.
All right, thanks, Louis.
All right, Bobby Meacham joining us on the pregame show. We're back with day one of Yard Goats baseball up next on NESN.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandy Memorial Middle School. Please remain standing for the retirement of the colors.
And back at Duncan Park, Jeff Dooley, Dan Lavallo, welcome to Yard Goats Baseball. The flyover here, tremendous job of the national anthem and the Connecticut National Guard. with a flyover. Always fun to see on opening day. Happy opening day, partner.
And a happy opening day to you, too.
This is a big day. It's almost like a holiday, right, in sports, opening day. And I know for the Yard Goat fans, a chance to come out to the ballpark for the first of 69 games this season.
You know, winters around here have a tendency to get long, so you look forward to opening day. And you know when baseball is being played in Hartford, then we're ready to go.
Yeah, the Yard Goats have a pretty good squad this year. I know there's a lot of excitement out of spring training about this group. I know Bud Black said he's got a couple of guys he'll want to keep an eye on. And a couple of those guys in the lineup, Cole Carrick in center field today. And third baseman for the Yard Goats this season will be Kyle Karros.
Yeah.
Take a look at the starting lineup, Stan, presented by the Hartford, and a look at the lineup for the Somerset Patriots.
Well, one of the players who stands out is Rafael Flores, Jeff. He was voted the New York Yankees minor league position player of the year last season, and he's left an impression with Yankee manager Aaron Boone for what he did in spring training. And you see Hasso, Hardman, Gabrielson, Martin, Vargas, and Gatewood round out the lineup for the Somerset Patriots.
And the Somerset Patriots up against Goats right-hander Gabriel Hughes. As we take a look at the former star from Gonzaga who is coming off Tommy John surgery. Good to see him back on the mound after recovering from TJ surgery. He is healthy, and he said he wants to go out there and try to prove something this season. Really feels he needs to.
Well, he throws a four-seam fastball, a two-seam fastball, slider, curve, changeup. He was 2-2 with the Yard Goats in 2023. It was his overall record in 2023, but he came down with Tommy John surgery and then pitched in the Arizona Fall League this past fall. So he's on the mend, ready to turn things around, and he left a favorable impression with manager Bud Black during spring training. He got into several games with the Colorado Rockies, and I know Black was very impressed. There's the defense behind him. You see the left side of that defense, Karros and Torres. Heard a lot about Karros, Jeff, and I know we're all looking forward to see what he's got to do.
It should be a fun one. Really nice conditions for today's game. It was actually muggy this morning and a really nice afternoon. The sun came out. Really nice conditions here today as the Goats will play opening day 2025 here at Duncan Park. It's the Rockies affiliate against the Yankees affiliate here in downtown. Hughes working with new battery mate Brian Betancourt. Gets the nod behind the plate. Get to see Bryant catch for the first time, and the Goats will see if they can get something going here. They won last year's opening day, beating the Portland Sea Dogs up at Hadlock Field in Maine, 1-0 behind Carson Palmquist.
Jeff, they're going up against their old nemesis in the Somerset Patriots, the Yankees AA affiliate, though, because Somerset over the years has given the Yard Goats fit to the tune of really outplaying the Yard Goats and dominating the season series year after year. So it's a new season, right?
It is a new season for sure. Jesus Rodriguez will see Hughes first as the third baseman stands in. And we are set for baseball on this Friday night for the local fans in attendance here tonight. Post-game fireworks, so a little bit of everything. Rodriguez 302, 10 homers, 49 RBI between Somerset and High Hudson Valley a year ago. The two spots inside the Yankees minor league system. Now here we go. Hughes' first pitch. He attacks with the fastball, but misses low at 93, and away we go. The corners are made in trouble. Good to have you with us for Yard Goats baseball here on Nesson. And just misses on the outer half. The count, 2 balls, no strikes.
Hughes is going to be on a pitch count tonight, so how long he goes depends on how effective he is with his pitch count.
First round pick of the Rockies, 2022. 10th overall pick. He pitched well in spring training for the Rockies and started pitcher in the spring breakout game. Rockies prospects beat the White Sox prospects. The 2-0 fastball is in for a strike to make it 2-1. Went 2 innings in that game, did not allow a hit or run. Had 2 strikeouts, no walks, and a victory for the Rockies prospects. Overall in spring training, pitched well in 3 games. Did not give up a run in 6 1/3 innings. Just 3 hits allowed, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and picked up a victory against the Padres. After the foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
There's a look at Rodriguez, but I'll tell you what, you look at Gabriel Hughes, and Jeff, he has gotten bigger since the last time we saw him in a Yard Goats uniform.
He has. There's his 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike three. Got the slider that time, and Hughes gets his first strikeout victim, Jesus Rodriguez, to start things in his first outing in Hartford this season.
Now, that's a nice pitch to make Rodriguez chase. And that's one of the things that Bud Black wants to see out of Hughes. He's very impressed with his fastball.
Keys to the game, Dan, presented by West Hartford Lock.
Well, enjoy the moment. It's opening day. Yard Goats need to contain Spencer Jones, and they need to make Schlittler throw off-speed pitches. He's very effective with his fastballs, but make him throw the off-speed stuff.
Spencer Jones, a highly touted prospect in the Yankees organization. One of the biggest prospects in the game, in fact. He swings and misses here. Looking off-speed pitch that time from Hughes to get ahead 0-2. And boy, Spencer Jones, early indications are he is a goat killer. He came up with some big hits against Hartford, including a big hit in the playoff series a year ago. Takes the breaking pitch, curveball outside. The count goes to 1-2.
Well, he was very effective in that playoff series against Hartford, which Somerset won in 2 games, the Northeast Division battle, and he hit a home run down in Somerset, Jeff, that I think is still traveling something like 453 feet.
That was a long one. Swings here. It's one to third. It's Kiros making the play across the diamond with a throw, and Spencer Jones is gone out number 2.
There's a look at Jones. Always good to get that first play out of the way if you're Kiros, making his first start at the Double-A level. He was playing him off the lines, and he makes the play.
Well, Somerset. Bases clear, 2 away, and Rafael Flores the hitter, and he takes the first one outside for a ball. Somerset managed by Raul Dominguez in his 3rd season. Led the team to the playoffs each of his last 2 seasons.
Now, that's not Raul. Raul's on the third base coaching box.
Come on, guys, let's go.
And Dominguez has done a fine job. He's in his 3rd year with the
There he
Somerset.
is.
There he is.
He's got to be happy to be back for sure after showing that winning ingredient in Somerset. Back-to-back playoff appearances. Somerset has gone 3 straight years. Flores last year spent time between Somerset and Hudson Valleys. The next one is hit foul back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Now, he came on in his first year a couple of years ago and won 87 games as the manager, and then he came back last year. And Somerset was out of the race. They did not finish in first in the first half. The Yard Goats won the first half. And Somerset was something like 6 games out with 3 weeks to play, and they rallied to win the division and faced the Yard Goats in the first round of the playoffs.
Hughes looking for a 1-2-3 first inning. Here comes his 2-2. In there for a call, 3rd strike. Got him with a fastball at 96. Flores left standing, and indeed the Patriots go 1-2-3 in the first inning. Hughes looking good after 1/2. Somerset nothing. Hartford coming up.
he will always remember.
Now Somerset pitcher Cam Schlittler is on the hill for the Yankees affiliate. We'll take a look at him and the Patriots defense surrounding him.
Well, he appeared in 25 games last year at 3 levels, started 24 of them against several, including several against the Yard Goats. There's that defense behind him, and it's a new-looking defense compared to what we saw from the Patriots last year, Jeff.
Rafael Flores working behind the plate catching, and well, Schlittler certainly has ties to New England. He is from Massachusetts, pitched collegiately at Northeastern, and certainly a big-time prospect in the Yankees organization. So far, it's been smooth sailing through the minor league system for this young fella.
Well, he got into several games for the New York Yankees in spring training and left a favorable impression with the Yankees manager Aaron Boone.
So he will see Cole Carrick, Benny Montgomery, Kyle Karros here in the first inning. Excited to see Carrick, a guy that really played well in Spokane last year, helped lead the Indians to the Northwest League Championship. He and Karros 1-3 in Hartford's lineup tonight. And he takes a first pitch, breaking pitch in at 79. It's a called strike, 0-1. Carrick, 280 batting average, 16 homers, 60 RBI, stole 51 bases at High A year ago. That's in for a strike, and the count 0-2. That a sneaky fastball, 94. Carrick, a switch hitter. And he takes a call, third strike, fastball 96. So hard stuff for Schlittler to begin as his first batter and opening night is a strikeout. You could just tell Carrick fooled by that pitch, Dan.
Well, he's got a fastball, splitter, a sweeper, gyro, curveball. He throws it all.
Here's Benny Montgomery. And he takes a pitch a little bit low for ball one, a slider that time from Schlittler. Look at the 2024 Eastern League Manager of the Year, Bobby Meacham. How great is it to have him back?
Terrific, and he was presented with a bat to honor his being named the Eastern League Manager of the Year last year. Presented with a bat before the game by Yard Goats president Tim Restall. There's Bobby, second year at the helm.
Schlittler missing with a fastball. Now his 2-0 pitch to the Goats outfielder. Hit foul, first base side. And Benny hit a grand slam at Duncan Park. And a home run in his first ever at bat here at this ballpark. He cracked his lumber. He'll get new wood. The count, 2 balls and a strike. And Benny was diving for a ball against the Somerset team in New Jersey and ended up what he thought was a shoulder dislocation. Turned out to be a little bit worse, where he had to have labrum surgery and miss the remainder of the season. And he said, very similar to what Gabriel Hughes said, the worst part is just mentally knowing that you're not going to play baseball for a while. For Hughes, it was 14 months. Montgomery's been back before that. There's a fastball at 95, hits the strike zone. And the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's Jack Mason behind the plate, calling balls and strikes. Schlittler ready is 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a slider. Good looking pitch. Some nice angle to tilt to that one, and Montgomery cannot get the bat on it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, a pitcher likes to establish as many of his pitches as possible in the first inning, and Schlittler is off to a great start. He's establishing all of his pitches in this first inning.
Kyle Karros, his first at bat as a Goat. MVP of the Northwest League last year. He helped Spokane win the league championship. And the first one, 94, but it's a little bit low for a ball. Karros was actually up with the bases loaded. It wasn't a game-winning hit. He actually got hit by a pitch to win a league championship. So it may have hurt, but only for a second, because they were celebrating moments later. He swings and drives one towards right field. Here's Cole Garrison back to the track at the fence, and it's out of here. Kyle Karros sends one to the second deck, loses his helmet in the process, and he gives the Yard Goats a 1-0 lead. Line drive bullet into the cheap seats out right, and Karros, who had 15 home runs last year, didn't take long to hit his first one here of 2025.
I'll tell you what, in batting practice today, he was pulling that baseball, but Suddenly he has fallen in love with a short porch in right field, and who can blame him?
361 feet the distance, 100 miles an hour off the bats. And Karros has given Hartford the advantage. A guy that led the league in home runs last year. Welcome to dishing back is Zach Kokoska. Karros makes his way through the Yard Goats third base dugout, a popular guy. Schlittler misses at 96, and it's 2-0.
That's what you call borrowing a page from teammate Benny Montgomery and what Benny did last year.
Swing and a miss. Good looking slider that time from Schlittler. And the count, 2 balls and a strike. Schlittler, a fastball, will sit 93 and 96. Also a splitter, sweeper. Throws a gyro and a curveball. Was in spring training with the Yankees, a non-roster invitee. The next one is low, and the count goes to 3-1. Pitched 5 games with the Bombers, made 4 starts, a 4.41 earned run average. You're making 4 starts for the Yankees in spring training. They've got to like you, Dan.
Well, Jeff, that's a great point. As a matter of fact, his last start came the final weekend of spring training with the New York Yankees. So if you've made it to the final weekend of spring training, they must like you.
And Boone and company getting a pretty good look at young pitcher in the system. Pitched collegially at Northeastern last year. Started 17 games at High A Hudson Valley. Posted a 2.60 earned run average. There's a swing and a miss. Another good-looking slider, and Schlittler ends up striking out the side. But mixed in is a home run. Kyle Karros. He goes deep, his first bomb of the season, and he gives Hartford the early 1-0 lead through an inning here in Hartford. To stock their Double-A team. Last 3 years, Somerset's gone to the playoffs ever since they've joined the Eastern League. Some really good numbers, Dan. 148 home runs, tops in the EL circuit in 2024.
And they hit many of those home runs against the Yard Goats. In fact, they hit more homers against the Yard Goats than any other team last season.
Dylan Hasso is the hitter, and he takes the pitch, a breaking pitch in for strike one. Hasso, righty hitter. 258 last year, 2 homers, 13 runs batted in. Swings and misses here. And the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Hughes struck out Rafael Flores to wrap up a 1-2-3, and he struck out 2 in the first at Gabriel Hughes. There's the 0-2. Up high, try to get him to chase at 95. He does not.
Jeff, we were talking earlier, and you related a story to me when you were out in spring training about Hughes, how locked in he gets before a start.
He really does. He said he's a different character when he's in character to pitch. Next one missing outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He was telling me a story about Braden Ward. One of his teammates came up to him to say hello, and this was about an hour before he was pitching, and Gabriel just kind of walked right by him, and Ward came up to him after the game when Gabriel apologized. He said, no, I know it was your pitching day. I shouldn't have said anything to you. Chopper to second. That's Horde. George making the play, throw to first base, and Diane retires. Also for the first out of the second inning, and so far it's been Cruz sailing for Gabriel Hughes.
Well, Jorge had a decision to make. Should he charge that baseball and try to catch it before it hit the ground, or play it on the short hop? And he played it on the short hop.
Tyler Hartman is the batter now. And Hughes deals a little bit low for ball 1.
Tell you what, Hartman batted under 200 last year, had 10 homers, but he wreaked some of the damage on the Yard Goats with those home runs last season, so he does pack a wallop.
Sure does. This one is in for a strike. They kind of leaving off. That was a slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Lively fastball, Dan, from Hughes so far tonight.
Jeff, I'll be interested to see if the Somerset batters say anything about that long leather string that's dangling from the glove of Hughes. I would think that's a distraction. It's a distraction to me. I would think it distracts the hitters, and they could say something about it, and Hughes would be forced to tie that string. It's really dangling from his glove.
This is 1-2. Sock foul back to the screen right behind the plate. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
Under the rules of baseball, you can't have anything that really is a distraction to the hitter on a pitcher's glove. But the flip side is, if you're a pitcher, you're going to try and get away with anything possible. And look at those leather strings, how they're dangling from the glove.
Yeah, I guess any advantage you can get, right? Hartman now waiting a 1-2. Swings here, rolls it out to shortstop. Torres with a fielding chance on the first base of the throw, and Hartman is gone for out number 2. Great conditions here for opening night. 60 degrees, partly cloudy skies, a breeze at 7 miles an hour from left to right. It's been a very pleasant night, and wow, a full house. Great to see. I think a lot of people had this date circled April 4th and on their calendars when the Goats announced when they'd be opening the season.
Well, I mean, I've been around and you've been around long enough to know you could get snow on April the 4th around here, and we're very fortunate. 60-degree temperatures.
Cole Gabrielson is the hitter, righty hitter, and look at that bat he's got as he takes the first one in for a strike. It's Stan the bat everyone's been talking about in baseball, the torpedo bat.
Yep, there it is.
He uses it, as does Spencer Jones. This one is outside of the count. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, he comes from a baseball family. His dad played baseball at USC. His grandfather, Len, played baseball at USC and actually played some in the big leagues.
Swings here and loops to a right for Benny Montgomery. He comes in and takes care of Gabrielson to end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Somerset Patriots in the second. After an inning and a half, Hartford 1, Somerset nothing here in downtown Hartford. Opening day has not produced great results for the Hartford Yard Goats. They won last year's game 1-0 up in Portland, Maine. Hartford 3-5 all-time on opening day. This is the first time they've opened against the Yankees affiliate Somerset, and it is the 4th season opener in downtown Hartford, Dan, here at Duncan Park.
You know, it's interesting. Last year's 1-0 win, if I'm not mistaken, and Carson Palmquist was the winning pitcher, he got out of a first-inning jam without a run being scored, and that was the turning point of the game.
You're absolutely right. Seemed like it was just yesterday as Juan Guerrero takes the pitch from Schlittler outside for ball 1. He labored in that first inning. The Sea Dogs did a great job, and that was a team that had Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer in the lineup. There's a drive hit towards left field. Here's Martin heading back towards the track at the fence. It's off the fence. Guerrero on his way to second base loses his helmet and chugs in for a double. Guerrero, the 2-base hit. He got a chance to play in Hartford and last year after really a nice start in Spokane. But one thing this kid Guerrero can do, Dan, is he can swing the bat. And that time a one-hopper to the fence.
Yeah, that was a fastball right out over the plate, and he lambasted it into the gap in left center. As you said, he made an impact when he joined the Yard Goats in August last year, and it carried over into the postseason. He's got a lethal bat, and he begins this year with a 2-base hit.
Dion Jorge is the hitter. Righty hitter with Guerrero at second base. Hartford getting a runner in scoring position for the first time against Schlittler. And that first one is in for strike 1.
Jeff, looking forward to seeing what Jorge can do with the Yard Goats. Hartford has had one solid shortstop after another in recent years. Same at second base. Jorge's a second baseman, native of Cuba. Looking forward to see what he could do.
I agree, especially when you talk about that shortstop spot. There's a swing and a miss, and Jorge behind now, no balls, 2 strikes from, I guess it begins with Ezequiel Tovar, right? I mean, you could go back before that with Coco Montes, who got a chance to go to the big leagues. But Tovar, now a young star in our game. And then Julio Carreras was outstanding. And then we saw Ryan Ritter, who's on the fast track, too. He's up at AAA now, knocking on the door.
Brendan Rodgers is now with Houston.
Right. We've seen some really impressive middle infielders here at Duncan Parks in 17. There's a swing and a miss at a slider at 85. And again, Jorge strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for Schlittler. In fact, every out in the ballgame has been a K-Dan.
Feast or famine.
Right. The one that wasn't a double, and the other was a home run. So 4 punch outs for Cam Schlittler. Brian Betancourt makes his Double-A debut. Guerrero at second base. Goats on top 1-0, and a Kyle Quiros home run back in the first inning. This is at 95 for ball 1.
First time through the batting order, Schlittler is starting these Yard Goats hitters off with fastballs.
Betancourt fouls one back to the screen. Bryant, 21 years old, signed by the Rockies, international free agent back in 2021. Was the Northwest League Player of the Week last May 19th. Also was a Baseball America Class A All-Star. Visit here as Rafael Flores goes out to check on Schlittler.
That's an award-winning battery out there on the mound. Flores, the New York Yankees Position Player of the Year last season, and Schlittler, the Yankees Pitcher of the Year last season in the minor leagues. The minor league teams, and they were the award winners for pitcher and position player. And this is a rather lengthy conversation as the plate umpire, Jack Wasson, heads out to break up the conversation.
On the left side of the infield that came in as well, Jake Gatewood and Jesus Rodriguez involved in the discussion on the mound. Now they'll return to their spots in the diamond. Ball and a strike to Bryant Betancourt. He hit 12 home runs at Spokane last year. That's a fastball that's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, this is game 1 of the 3-game series. A day game tomorrow at 1:10, Sunday at 1:10. Hartford will be on the road, and Binghamton next week, returning in 2 weeks to welcome in the Red Sox affiliate, Portland. There's a whacked foul up the first baseline. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Betancourt. There's a Torres waiting on deck. He'll be next.
I think that might have been the gyro that he threw to Betancourt.
Yeah, it could have been. Fans enjoying themselves. Really nice night for baseball. A great way to start this 2025 season. Cam Schlittler trying to work around a leadoff double by Juan Guerrero. Betancourt able to get a piece and stay alive. 2-2.
Now you see the catcher that time, Flores, setting up for an outside pitch, but Schlittler came right at Betancourt.
Guerrero digs out his lead at second. Infield is back. Outfield is straight away. Ground ball to right side. Will advance the runner. Backhanded by Hasso. Taken, and Betancourt is gone. On the play, Guerrero goes to third base, but there are 2 out.
That was a slow curveball, and that time Betancourt pulled it with the end result. First baseman to pitcher covering. And you see Schlittler right away looking at that runner to make sure, Jeff, that Guerrero didn't go any further beyond third base.
Schlittler able to get to that bag plenty of time. Jose Torres now will need a 2-out hit if the Goats want to add to a 1-0 lead. Just getting going here. Inning number 2. Torres, a first-year Goat at 217 last year at Chattanooga. 5 homers, 21 runs batted in. He was acquired via the Rule 5 draft. A swing and a miss and a slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He came from the Cincinnati Reds organization, drafted by the Reds in the 3rd round out of North Carolina State.
Born in the Dominican, but he went to high school in Maryland. Did Torres. It's 1-2.
A fastball on 0-2.
Schlittler ready. His 1-2 pitch. Over but low, 97 again. A little bit extra that time. Torres was also drafted by the Brewers, 24th round out of high school in Townsend, Maryland, but he did not sign. Takes that one, the slider a little bit inside of the count. Phil's now 3-2.
You see Flores trying to frame those pitches. Of course, a lot of these players who played in spring training at the major league level had that automated strike zone where they could challenge a pitch.
Here's the payoff pitch, and it misses outside ball 4. So Torres works the walk. And the Goats have runners at the corners with 2-way here in the 2nd inning, looking to add on to a 1-0 lead.
You could see Schlittler is not happy. He had him 0-2 as Luis Lopez, the Yard Goats first base coach, chats with Torres. Never know, the Yard Goats might be running here. They led the league in steals last year. Schlittler not happy, Jeff. He had Torres 0-2 and came back and walked him.
P.J. Hill, those good bloodlines. His dad, a 13-year Major League veteran. Outfielder Glenn Allen Hill played for the Blue Jays, Indians, Cubs, Giants, Mariners, Yankees, and Angels. And we saw Hill at the end of last year, though he didn't get activated for the playoffs. He was here just in case. And what a great young kid. Grew up in clubhouses throughout his whole life and was originally drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Dan, now he's trying to make it as a Colorado Rocky.
Jeff, I broadcast some of the games his dad played in the minor leagues.
He's a good player. Swings here and grounds it right to the first baseman. So has it. He'll take to the bag, and Hill is gone to end the inning. So nothing develops after a leadoff double by Juan Guerrero. Goats leave 2 in the books, 1-0 Hartford. Single. Somerset gets Sterling Thompson to hit into a double play to end the game. Patriots win the best-of-3 series, move on. Erie goes on to win the league championship. And we're back to live action here at Duncan Park. Boy, there was so much energy down in the ballpark that day. That was a fun one. It was an extra inning game, man. It was tough. There had to be a loser.
It was a fun game, and it came to a sudden end with that double play.
Ground ball to shortstop off the bat of Garrett Martin. Torres will take away. Entirely leadoff hitter in the third inning. Left fielder is gone. A 6-3 scoring play.
And that's 4 ground ball outs thrown by Gabriel Hughes. And he has managed to keep his pitch count at a very respectable level. Just 29 pitches through 2 1/3 innings.
He's been great. Has 2 strikeouts. Alexander Vargas is the hitter now, the second baseman for the Yankees affiliate. Third baseman Kyle Karros in on the grass, thinking maybe bunt. No sign of the bunt, though, as Vargas mean hack fouls one off. And you see his numbers, 251, 4 homers, 35 RBI, stole 15 bases, 671 OPS a year ago. Breaking pitch, curveball, but it was a little bit high, and it's a ball and a strike to the Patriots second baseman.
You were talking about that last game here, that thrilling game, and there are 4 players in the lineup for Somerset tonight who were in that lineup that night at Duncan Park back on September 19th.
A little bit low, and of course you broadcast the first playoff game with me in TD Ballpark in Somerset, New Jersey, and that was a tight game. Chase Dolander got the starting assignment, and the Rockies actually have called up Dolander to the big leagues today. When he pitches, will be the 69th yard goat to make it to the majors. Ground ball to short. Torres again tested. Jose's throw plenty in time to get Vargas. Route number 2, but Chase started that game, and Chase will pitch Sunday for the Colorado Rockies, Stan, against the Athletics.
How about that, as he is on a fast track. They're very high on what he can do. He had a very impressive spring training, and he got summoned today, and it was announced, as you mentioned, he'll start against the Athletics at Coors Field on Sunday.
Opening weekend at home for the Rockies. Jake Gatewood, the hitter, and he takes the pitch in for strike 1. Gatewood, the shortstop, 211, 2266 in Salt Lake last year, so he played at AAA a year ago out in the Pacific Coast League, a property of the Yankees. That's in for a strike, and the count goes to 1-2. He's in good position for his third strikeout. And he's got it. Another one looking. That was a pretty good slider by Gabriel Hughes. Jake Gatewood left standing. 3 punch outs for Hughes, who's perfect through 3. 1-0 Yard Goats. Follow here at Duncan Park, and it's always a fun one when they honor somebody that has really touched many lives.
No, that's Bobby Detweiler, United States Marine Corps veteran, served as an aviation supply officer and served his country for 4 years, and there he is, our Duncan hero among us, Bobby Detweiler.
Now the Goats flip the lineup over first time against Cam Schlittler as we move along to the last half of the third inning. Goats on top 1-0. Gabriel Hughes 9 up and 9 down. He's been sharp through 3 innings. And here's Cole Carrick, who took a called third strike to start the ball game for the Goats. He looks at a slider for strike 1.
Now this is the second time through the order for Schlittler, so we will see if he shows the Yard Goats a different look. He showed Carrick a different look that time with a slider.
Swings here, drives one towards left. Martin heading back to the track. This is over his head, slams off the fence. Carrick sprinting towards second base. Here's the throw. He slides in, and he's in with a double. Martin got that ball quickly back to the second baseman, Alexander Vargas, but Carrick has good speed, and he went sprinting into second base with a double.
Well, Martin got that ball back quickly because he played it perfectly. He saw he wasn't going to make the catch, so immediately he shifted into position to play the carom off the wall, which is what he did, and that's why that play was close down at second base. But Carrick picks up his first Double-A hit.
The Yard Goats have 3 hits, all are extra base hits, 2 doubles and a home run. There's Benny Montgomery. He struck out swinging against Schlittler back in the first inning. Second straight inning that Hartford has begun with 2 base hits. Guerrero double last inning, but one gets stranded at third base when the inning concluded. Sure, Schlittler has family here, being from Massachusetts, pitched collegiately at Northeastern. Fastball, splitter, sweeper, gyro, and curveball. That's outside at 95. He's got a good arm. 2 balls, no strikes. He's 24 years old. Last year began the season at Hudson Valley. 108 strikeouts, 86 innings. Actually made a spot start at AAA Scranton, so he was a step away from New York. This one is fouled off. Good hard stuff down the middle. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, he has been working Montgomery in and out, throwing him a lot of fastballs. He's behind on the count. He seems to have labored a bit near the end of the second inning and now the start of the third.
Schlittler from Walpole, Massachusetts. Wonder if the family knows Walpole Joe, right? Joe Morgan. There goes the runner for third. The pitch is swung on, pop to right. Gabrielson dropping back here is going to have to return to the bag, and he will not get there in time. Of course, a short distance, Cole makes that catch, and Gary gets doubled off of second base in a hit-and-run play.
My goodness, that looked like a sure double play, but the Yard Goats made it, Somerset made it look interesting as Gabrielson gets the throw off. But watch the second baseman, Vargas. He had a difficult time handling the throw. Ends up falling down. You can't see because we're blocked by the umpire. He actually fell down as he was touching second base. But that's how they turned the double play, 9-4.
Kyle Karros, who homered his first at bat, pulled into the right field porch seats up by the Jordan's Furniture deck, and he takes strike 1. There's a swing and a miss. And the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Schlittler played varsity basketball, 3-time baseball state champion. His dad, John, the police chief in Needham, Massachusetts. He played baseball and football at D1 Stonehill College in Easton, Mass. Next one just misses outside. Didn't miss much by the slider in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, you mentioned he also went to Northeastern. We did basketball games at Northeastern. I loved to broadcast games in that cozy gymnasium is what it was, remember?
Yeah, you and Casey Jones
That's
at that
right.
point. There's a little pop-up, short center field. Spencer Jones, great speed, comes racing in, but the right fielder, Gabrielson, that cuts in front to make the catch, and Karros is gone. Yankees affiliate, the Somerset Patriots, at Duncan Park all weekend. They're from Bridgewater, New Jersey, play at TD Bank Ballpark, a Yankee affiliate since 2021. They went to the playoffs last year, ended up losing to Erie, but they've got a pretty good club as we move along to the fourth inning. 1-0 Yard Goats here to bring you the next three. My broadcast partner, here's Dan Lavallo. Dan?
All right, Jeff, thanks very much. Jesus Rodriguez looks at a strike. Gabriel Hughes has been perfect through 3 innings, retiring all 9 batters. There's a ball, 1-1, and Jeff, he's done it by striking out 3 batters and getting 4 ground ball outs, 1 fly out. Very effective.
Yep.
Another ground ball handled by Torres. 1 down to start the top of the 4th inning.
Yeah, he's been very efficient, Dan, as you mentioned. I mean, obviously 10 up and 10 down now for Hughes. He'll be watched on a pitch count just because coming off the injury, and pitchers aren't going to go deep in the cold anyway out of spring training, but he'll be watched closely. I think 4, maybe 5 innings for Hughes tonight, depending on how things go.
Well, Hughes now working to Spencer Jones. Grounded out to third his first time up. Swing and a miss at a curveball. You see that Jones is using that torpedo bat. Just started using it near the end of spring training. He saw a lot of time in the Yankees camp this spring.
Ian Gabrielson.
There's a strike as Hughes comes back with a fastball. Jeff, I think Hughes has done an excellent job of mixing his pitches.
He has. And the fastball's got some life tonight. You've got to be happy he's executing well.
Kept that pitch low on Jones, but Spencer wasn't offering for it. That's one of the reasons they say Jones is back here at Double-A. They want him to cut down on his strikeouts. There's a ball. Although that's not as big a deal as it used to be, as you know, Jeff, the number of times a hitter strikes out. I mean, if you have a high strikeout count,
you just better hit home runs, right?
Then you're going to move up. That's a check swing. Nice play by the shortstop Torres. And that's now 11 in a row retired by Hughes to start the ball game.
Yeah, that's a swing, and a little excuse me swing that's something that can keep a hitter up at night. You'd love to have that one back if you're Spencer Jones, but you went a little too far, and the ball hits the bat, and it ends up rolling out to the shortstop.
Just got to look at the shortstop Torres. That's 5 assists for Torres in the first 3 2/3. There's a strike as Flores unable to check his swing. Flores looked at a 3rd strike his first time up. 1-0 Yard Goats here in the top of the 4th inning. There's a strike as he paints the inside corner, 0-2. Take a look at the pitch count of Hughes, and that's really spectacular.
Yeah.
Just 47 pitches through 3 2/3 innings. He pitched at the Double-A level a couple of years ago before getting injured, and here he is back at Double-A. Foul at the plate. Count remains at 0-2 on Flores. Yankees manager Aaron Boone was saying that the way Flores played in spring training, he's going to catch in the big league someday. He likes the way he calls games, likes the way he handles pitchers. Number foul.
It just seems, talking about Hughes, that Somerset is not seeing him well tonight. I mean, it seems like talked about the execution of the pitches, but they're not getting many good swings on him at all. You talked about the strikeouts, the ground balls. I mean, there's only been 1 ball, Dan, hit in the air tonight.
That's it. And that was Cole Gabrielson who flied to right. Off-speed pitch is fouled off. Count remains 0-2 on Flores. Dylan Hasso is on deck. The only run in this game, a home run by Kyle Karros in his first Double-A at-bat. Pitch misses for a ball, 1-2. Jeff mentioned the Yard Goats and Somerset play again tomorrow afternoon. The only home game on a Saturday afternoon at Duncan Park this year. Another roller to short. Torres, a busy man, throws out Flores, and the perfect game through continues. 1-0 Yard Goats after 3.5. Well, off we go to the last of the fourth. The Yard Goats leading by the score of 1-0. But Jeff, so far the story of this game has been Gabriel Hughes and Kyle Karros.
Yeah, he's been perfect so far through 4 innings. He's been very impressive, executing his pitches well. He was a man on a mission. He said, when I come back to Hartford this year, I did what I did back in 2023. I've got something to prove. I want to go out. And he's coming off Tommy John surgery. So far, so good. It's been smooth sailing for the Yard Goats starting pitcher. And how about Karros getting into a home run? His first at bat sends one into the right field porch seats. And this big crowd getting entertained. A good one as the Goats have a 1-0 lead.
Well, 1-0 as we go to the last of the fourth. And speaking of home runs, Zach Kokoska will be the batter. And Kokoska led the Eastern League in home runs with 20 last season. And he packs a wallop. He likes that right field porch. Who wouldn't here at Duncan Park? Kokoska struck out swinging his first time up. Cam Schlittler into his fourth inning of work. There's a swing and a miss. 1-1. Schlittler also very stingy on his pitch count. That's his 48th pitch of the game as Kokoska looks at a strike. Kokoska playing first base tonight for the Yard Goats. He can also play the outfield. 10th round draft pick by the Colorado Rockies, and he has really developed into a good professional baseball player. Swing and a miss, strike three. The ball gets away from Flores. He better hurry up. He throws high and just in time to get Kokoska. First base umpire Trevor Patience with the emphatic out call. Kokoska comes up empty on his swing, but look at Zach hustling down that first base line. A high throw, and I don't know. It
very
almost
close.
Appeared as if Hasso left the bag momentarily just as Kokoska was crossing the bag, Jeff.
It did. It was very close. They might have reviewed that, Dan, at Major League Spring Training, right?
I'm sure. I'm going to watch it again as Guerrero looks at a curve for a strike.
Well, certainly in the big leagues. Take a look at that.
See, he's off the bag, but I think he just got his foot on the bag in time.
I think they got it right.
Good call by Trevor Patience. Gabrielson camps under that fly ball by Guerrero, and he makes the grab for the second out. So quickly 2 gone here in the last of the fourth with the Yard Goats clinging to a 1-0 lead. There's Gabrielson. Been a busy man. Gabrielson has had 3 putouts and 1 assist in the last inning and 2/3. Now Dion Jorge struck out swinging his first time up. Pitch is fouled. No balls, 1 strike the count. The big crowd here at Duncan Park on opening night. Perfect night for the ball game.
It really is.
And they're seeing a pitcher's duel unfold. Fouled out of the ballpark. 0-2 the count.
I was watching on NESN. I'm sure follow the Red Sox affiliates, including the Portland Sea Dogs. Bet in a Hadlock Field, you know, you don't see too many 1-0 games, but last year after snow postponed the initial 2 games on the schedule, they finally got one in, and it was a 1-0 game. We talked about it before. Carson Palmquist was outstanding for the Yard Goats, but at Hadlock, you just don't see too many 1-0 games.
No, you don't. And what was amazing about that stretch, they had something like 6 inches of snow a couple days before the opener. Gabrielson, a very busy man, puts it away, and that ends the last of the 4th. Valley Sports Live is your home for minor league baseball all season long. Watch every live game at no cost in the MILB zone. Test your skills and earn rewards in the game center. And new this season, buy tickets to watch your favorite teams. Valley Sports Live is the perfect companion for the minor league baseball fan. Step up to the plate and download the Valley Sports Live app today. Well, there is a new pitcher in the ball game for the Yard Goats, Jeff, and that is Jack Mahoney, who has come on after Gabriel Hughes pitched 4 perfect innings to start the game tonight.
I believe that's Juarez, Dan, that's coming in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Victor Juarez.
It is Victor Juarez. That might have been the roster change we got.
Yeah, a couple of the guys flip numbers, which occasionally happens, but Victor Juarez, who comes from Monterrey, Mexico, 6'173", and they did tell me that he would be following Gabriel Hughes, and Hughes, as we mentioned, on a pitch count, he was outstanding. But Juarez, a guy that, Dan, he started all his career, and, you know, I'm sure at some point he'll go into the starting rotation as his first at bat of the season turns out to be a strikeout.
Yeah, he strikes out Hasso. How about Hughes? 4 innings pitched. No hits, no runs, no walks, and he ends up striking out 3 batters. He was perfect. What do you think manager Bobby Meacham is going to put on his report back to Colorado?
Yeah, he was really good. You know, I think the other thing that Meacham will probably print up is that there wasn't a lot of good contact against him, and there was some soft contact, a lot of ground balls, and his stuff was very, very effective, and he got the job done, and he was very efficient while doing so.
8 ground ball outs, 6 of them to the shortstop Torres. So now Juarez on, and he has struck out the first batter he has faced and is 1-1 to Tyler Hardman. There's a drive deep to left, but foul.
Juarez signed by the Rockies, international free agent back in 2019. This is the first time that he's made the Yard Goats out of spring training.
6 feet, 173 pounds, from Monterrey, Mexico. Look at the crowd here at Duncan Park on opening night.
Better than 6,000 in the ballpark tonight. Sellout crowd.
Throws a changeup, strike 3 called. Hardman gets punched out. Sort of a delayed call by the plate umpire, Jack Wasson, but there you see an excellent job of framing that pitch by Betancourt. And all Juarez has done is strike out the first 2 batters he's faced.
And it's impressive, Dan, because when you're a starting pitcher, it is so much different to come out of the pen in the middle of the game. And here's a guy that started 22 games last year at Spokane and has to come out of the bullpen behind Gabriel Hughes. And so far, he strikes out the 2 that he's faced with the Patriots.
Cole Gabrielson with a no ball, 1 strike count on him. 1-0 Yard Goats. There's a strike. Unable to check his swing and appeal, and Trevor Patience, the first base umpire, said Gabrielson went around. 0-2 the count. Now the word was the Yard Goats were going to get some strong pitchers on the roster this year, and well, they're off to some kind of a start. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Juarez comes on and strikes out the side. We head to the last of the 5th. 1-0 Yard Goats. Burnable and Adiel Amador also at AAA Albuquerque. Last of the 5th, Bryant Betancourt leads it off. First pitch from Schlittler misses, ball 1. Amador actually got a chance to play some in the major leagues last year, Jeff.
He sure did. Got called up directly from Hartford.
There's a strike. 1-1 the count on Betancourt.
You know, I got a chance to see Amador in spring training play a handful of games, and he really did a good job getting his body even better than we saw last year. And I think sometimes you probably, you're a young kid and you might not think you're that close to the major leagues. Then you go up and you realize, you know what, maybe I could have done myself better, and if I was maybe a little bit more ready. And he was chiseled out in Scottsdale, and he looked good in camp. They kept him in camp actually for a long, long time.
There's strike 3 called. Betancourt strikes out looking. And for Schlittler, that is his 6th strikeout.
Yeah, I mean, he is pitching around some traffic. Hartford had doubles to lead off the 2nd and 3rd inning, but the only real damage was the home run to Kyle Karros back in the 1st, and that has been where the only run has scored here on this Friday night.
He has struck out 6, has only thrown 57 pitches. Here's Jose Torres, busy man in the field tonight. Swings and misses at that first pitch. He walked in his first plate appearance. You know, it's interesting the hard work these players put in not only during the season but in the off season to get their bodies in even better shape. And I think a great example is a former Somerset Patriot, Ben Rice. There's a pitch which misses for a ball. Rice, as you know, Jeff, used to wreak havoc on the Yard Goats, including last year. Then he gets called up to the Yankees, has that 3-homer game against the Red Sox, but he batted under 200 in his stay at the major league level as this pitch is fouled away. But I'll tell you what, he worked out in the offseason. He has really put on some muscle. Pound for pound, you have to say he's a better player, and he's off to a fast start with New York. So that's what happens. These players work hard in the offseason. We saw it with Yanquiel Fernandez last year, how he worked hard in the offseason 2023 into 2024.
That's right.
Pitch misses for a ball.
Boy, he really was a goat killer, though, wasn't he, Ben Rice?
And
I mean, 2 walk-off home
yes,
runs against the team. That's pretty, in 2 years, pretty impressive.
including one last year.
Yep.
I mean, he started the year in Somerset and beat the Yard Goats on a walk-off. That pitch almost hit Torres. 3-2 the count. 1-0 Yard Goats here in the last of the 5th inning. Opening night, sellout crowd here at Duncan Park. Same 2 teams tomorrow afternoon at 1:10. Swinging a foul at the plate. The Yard Goats in Somerset over the years have played some very close, interesting games, but Somerset has had the upper hand on the season series. In fact, Somerset has beaten the Yard Goats 51 out of 71 games played. But most of the games seem close, Jeff.
Yeah, they do.
Well, for the second time, Torres walks. He's the only batter who has walked in this game, and he walks twice.
We mentioned Hartford trending a couple of doubles. It was really a fluke back in the 3rd inning as Benny Montgomery hit into a double play on a hit-and-run play. Cole Carrick broke for 3rd, went diving into the bag, and then where Cole Gabrielson made the catch, he ended up doubling off Carrick at second base on a kind of a short throw from medium depth right field.
Oh, that was close. Hasso thought he had him. Watch it again. And, whoa, that is really close.
May have gotten away with one there.
You can understand Hasso's frustration. Fouled back on a fastball.
Yeah, especially if you're able to eliminate a 1-out walk.
G.J. Hill, the DH, grounded out to first his first time up. There goes the runner. The pitch is in there for a strike. No throw. And Torres has the Yard Goats' first stolen base of the season. The Yard Goats led the Eastern League in steals last year.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. And Braden Ward, who will be a regular in the Goats lineup this season, he's on the team. Had some memorable hits last year. He stole over 50 bases. He had 51 thefts between Spokane and Hartford a year ago. So, you know, when he's in the lineup, I think we're going to see Bobby Meacham be very aggressive on the bases here again this season.
0-2 pitch upcoming. Breaking ball misses. 1-2 the count. Just taking a look at that Somerset bullpen at the moment. It is quiet. Schlittler's pitch count at 67. And that is speared by the shortstop, Gatewood. And there are 2 away.
Yeah, left the bat. Thought I had a chance, but Jake Gatewood able to quickly get to his right and in kind of a routine play to capture the second out of this 5th inning.
So here's Cole Carrig. Looked at a 3rd strike and then doubled to left for his first double-A hit. And he's up there with a runner in scoring position. Carrig, one of the highly touted players on this Hartford roster. There's the ball. Carrig went to San Diego State University. That's where Bobby Meacham went, right?
Yes. Yeah, Bobby's in their Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you went out there.
I went out there, and he didn't even tell me he was in their Hall of Fame. And I went out, and I saw his name, and I said, Bobby, you keeping something from me? And he just started laughing. He said, let me tell you, the field didn't look like that when I played there.
There's a broken bat foul. I mean, the bat traveled down the first base line.
Kevin Kennedy, he was on the team with Tony Gwynn. What a team they had.
Yes.
And Bobby became a first-round pick of the Yankees, and boy, he's been in baseball. We're talking earlier this morning about, I said, Bobby, how many opening days is it for you? And he started thinking, he said, well into his 40s as a player, coach, manager. What a career in baseball for Bobby Meacham.
Well, for longtime New York Yankees fans, one of the fan favorites, as you see that bat travel a fur piece beyond first base, one of the Yankees fans' favorites was and still is Roy White, who now is in his early 80s. And Bobby Meacham played for Roy White's dad. Roy White's dad was a coach. Ground ball to short. That's Gatewood. He gets his man, and Schlittler pitches around the walk. We hit.
A silver driver. Drive silver or get pulled over.
Mike's Amazing Mayonnaise and Mustard. That's what's presenting Yard Goats baseball. When it's on, it's on. Find Mike's Amazing here at Duncan Park and on sale today at your local market. To learn more, visit Mike'sAmazingFoods.com.
Victor Juarez set to take on this Patriots lineup for the second straight inning. Dan, he struck out the side in the 5th.
Garrett Martin grounded out to short his first time up. Slow roller towards third. Karros with a low throw, and there's the first base runner of the game for the Somerset Patriots. Hartford pitching had retired the first 15 batters tonight. Hughes had retired the 12 batters he faced. Juarez struck out the side in the 5th, but now Karros fielding that ball on a bang-bang play down at first. We'll see what they score it, but Martin becomes the first base runner of the game for the Patriots.
And suddenly,
There's
Potential
Alexander
tying run,
Vargas.
Dan,
Yeah,
excuse me, at first base.
just like that. Vargas fouls the first pitch off. It's going to be ruled a hit. As you see that runner getting there right before the ball bounced away from Kokoska. First hit in the game for Somerset. And back goes flying as Vargas swings at that pitch. We'll keep an eye on Martin because, as Jeff mentioned, he's the tying run. Fastball in tight on Martin, and the bat went flying.
Yep.
It's a new piece of lumber. Martin takes his lead off first as Vargas eyeballs a no-ball, two-strike count. There's a ball. Juarez throwing a lot of fastballs to Vargas. Spencer Jones, Rafael Flores, Tyler Hardman, and Alexander Vargas were the players in the lineup for Somerset when these two teams last met at Duncan Park on September 19th. Trouble down the right field line. It is a fair ball into the corner. Take a look at Martin. He's going to stop. Almost ran through the stop sign, but he slides back to third. In at second base with a double is Vargas. And there are runners at second and third with nobody out for the Somerset Patriots. Vargas went down after that pitch. That was out of the strike zone, and he yanked it down the right field line. That ball barely landing fair. And Martin, once he saw it was a fair ball, put on the afterburners, and watch him go through the stop sign of Dominguez. He keeps running, and whoop, he gets the stop sign and makes the headfirst dive. Now Gatewood.
Yeah, that was a, Raul Dominguez, he's coached third base here before the manager for the Somerset Patriots. Last thing you want is have that guy thrown at home plate. It is a really short distance from where he fielded that ball in right field to home plate.
The infield is in. And there is a base hit to center field. Martin is in to score. Here comes Vargas. Here comes the throw. Not in time. And Somerset takes a 2-1 lead on the two-run single by Jake Gatewood. Well, the infield was drawn in right under the glove of the diving Torres. Martin scoring easily. And then a throw was made on Vargas. And the Yardgoats are fortunate that Gatewood didn't take second base on that throw. He remains at first with a two-run single. Now Jesus Rodriguez, as Somerset has come back to take the lead on opening night, 2-1. There's a line shot into center field, up base hit. Up with the ball is Carrig. Gatewood stops at second base. Rodriguez is aboard at first. And the Somerset Patriots have found their bats, Jeff.
Yeah, that was a slider out over the plate, and Rodriguez able to get good wood on it to send it right up the gut. The fourth consecutive hit for the Yankees affiliate. And here comes the pitching coach now. And Meyer's going to head up and not only talk to Victor Juarez, but talk to the entire infield and give Victor a chance to catch his breath right here. Again, Juarez got a tough break in that ground ball to Kyle Karros. Wasn't an easy play for Karros, certainly a play we've seen Kyle make before. He tried to bounce it on a hop to Kokoska, and Martin beat it out. And then the hard hit double that was fair by probably a foot. So it hasn't been exactly the best of luck for Juarez in the sixth inning, but now he needs to sink the fastball, try to get a ground ball double play right here.
No stirring in the Yardgoats bullpen as of yet. That's Bobby Meacham right above the pitch clock. First and second, nobody out, and here's the dangerous Spencer Jones, who has grounded out to third and grounded out to short. 2 runs in here in the top of the sixth. Jones swings through a breaking ball, strike one. Big test now for Juarez because he has to work through the heart of that Somerset batting order. Oh, 1 pitch. Fouled above the Hartford dugout. 0-2 the count on Jones. Guerrero's going to retrieve that foul ball. And a fan is going to come away with a souvenir. That's a nice catch, and he's wearing a Yankees jersey. His night is made.
That's right.
Oh, 2 the count on Jones. Yard goats infield in double play depth. Fastball misses upstairs, 1-2.
You know something interesting? Somerset has never lost a series against the Yard Goats in their club history. It's almost impossible.
I couldn't believe it when I read that.
Yeah, it's...
What, 18 series they've beaten the Yard Goats in 4 splits. There's a swing and a miss at a high fastball, strike 3. So Juarez comes back and ties up Jones, strikes him out.
Entering play tonight, and rosters change over every year, we know that, but well, Somerset's had 3 straight playoff teams, but the Yard Goats are 20-51 against Somerset since they joined the Eastern League in 2021.
Incredible. Now the dangerous Rafael Flores, who has looked at a 3rd strike and grounded out to short. Gatewood at second, Rodriguez at first, 2 runs in. Swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch, strike 1.
And, you know, the Yard Goats have lost every way imaginable against this franchise, including Anthony Volpe in a walk-off home run to clinch a playoff against Ezekiel Tovar and Brenton Doyle back in 2022 in Somerset. That was a game that came down to the clincher the final day of the first half, and Anthony Volpe sent everyone home happy, the Jersey kid, before he got to the Bronx, making one sting for Yard Goat fans.
And he didn't use a torpedo bat.
He did not. The torpedo bats, though, have found their way to Duncan Park in that Somerset lineup tonight. We do know that.
Flores isn't using one. He said he doesn't like it. He's comfortable with the bat he has. There go the runners. The throw down to third base, and he is out. Gatewood out, attempting to steal third base. And for some reason, Rodriguez remained anchored at first. He started, then he stopped. But the throw right on the money, Caro supplying the tag, and Gatewood is out at third. And why Rodriguez didn't go to second base is beyond me.
Someone may have missed a sign there, Dan, but that's a big out. It's out number 2.
1-2 the count. Now Rodriguez bluffs going. Doesn't matter as Flores goes down swinging. But the Patriots come back and score 2. We head to the last of the 6th. It is 2-1 Somerset. Well, there's a look at the litany of the Hartford Yard Goats. 23 former Yard Goats have made Major League teams' opening day rosters. 17 former players on the Colorado Rockies. And 6 other MLB teams feature former Goats. The D-backs, the Astros, Angels, Brewers, Mets, Pirates. I mean, Garrett Hampson always seems to be on one of the teams.
You're not kidding.
He really has made a nice career.
He's been in Scottsdale for spring training for a long, long time because the Diamondbacks and Rockies both share Salt River Fields out west.
He was at Kansas City last year in the playoffs. He's been with the Marlins. And that number's going to change on Sunday as we head to the last of the 6th, and Benny Montgomery leads it off, looking at ball 1.
Yeah, on Sunday, word out that Chase Dolander will make his Major League debut, start against the Athletics.
Cam Schlittler is out there into his 6th inning of work.
Trailed most of the game after giving up a home run in the bottom of the 1st inning, but now he's on the mound. He's got the lead.
There is a swing and a miss. 1-1 the count on Montgomery. He chases after that pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Benny Montgomery looks big. It's because he is. Stands at 6'5", weighs 200 pounds, from Pennsylvania. So his family is going to get an opportunity to watch him play at several venues this year. 1-2 pitch. Misses for a ball, 2-2.
Danny grew up about 20 miles south of Harrisburg, and we were chatting the other day. And he said, "You know what? I looked at the schedule. Guess what? Guess where the Yard Goats don't go this season? Harrisburg, of all years."
How about that? There's a ball.
I said, "Well, you missed a good one last year because the Goats cracked the champagne in Harrisburg out in City Island, winning the first half." And he said, "Oh, trust me, I was going crazy. I was out in Scottsdale, wishing I was there."
That was some win in extra innings.
Yep.
Payoff pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Schlittler ties up Montgomery with an inside pitch and registers the strikeout.
7 punch-outs for Cam Schlittler. He's got it working here tonight, opening night for the Somerset Patriots.
Well, he gave up that home run in the first to Kyle Karros. I mentioned he pitched around a jam in the second, but has been in command even though he's walked a couple of batters. Ball to Karros, who in his first Double-A at-bat homered into the upper deck in right field. That came in the very first inning. There's a ball. 2-0 the count. Two-0 pitch in there for a strike, 2-1. Yard Goats lineup has had quite a turnover from last year, even though there are several players returning. There's a broken bat, grounded to short. Gatewood with a sidearm toss gets his man, and there are 2 away. The only player in the starting lineup on opening day last year who's in the starting lineup today is Benny Montgomery, and Benny struck out to start this 6th inning. I think that's going to be it for Schlittler. Raul Dominguez on his way to the mound, and Schlittler's going to come out, Jeff, after pitching 5 2/3 very solid innings tonight for Somerset.
He did a really nice job, and Somerset will go to the pen, and the Goats will see if they can go get the relievers for the Somerset Patriots.
safe at home, courtesy of Call the P Home Services. For your home's plumbing, heating, air, and electric needs, we'll be there and we'll be fair.
Well, the new pitcher in the ball game is Mason Vineyard. As Cam Schlittler pitches 5 2/3 innings, allows 3 hits, 1 run earned, walked 2, struck out 7. And now Vineyard enters. Schlittler, by the way, threw 82 pitches tonight.
And Dan, he leaves with a 2-1 lead. He can't get the win.
Zach Kokoska batting with 2 outs, nobody on base. And he looks at ball 1. By the way, there's a new second baseman in the game for Alexander Vargas. Max Burt is in at second base for the Patriots.
Another guy that played in the playoff game here last year.
They just added him to the roster today. He had been assigned to AAA. There's the ball. 2-0. Vineyard 6'2", 210 pounds, from Paducah, Kentucky. Went to Western Kentucky. Signed as a non-drafted free agent. Pitch misses for a ball. 3-0. There's Burt, who has wreaked havoc on the Yard Goats over the years.
Vargas doubled and scored. I wonder why he came out of the game.
Has he pulled something?
Yeah, possibly.
Burt, a North Andover, Massachusetts native, as Kokoska looks at a strike. 3-1. So Schlittler does a very effective job starting on opening night. Swing and a miss. And a breaking ball, 3-2. Two runs, 4 hits for Somerset. 1 run, 3 hits for the Yard Goats. Neither team has committed an error. Payoff pitch upcoming to Zach Kokoska. And it misses, ball 4. So
nice at bat.
Yeah, it sure is. The Greenwood, Pennsylvania native gets on base with a 2-out walk. He's the tying run. Now Juan Guerrero will bat for the 3rd time tonight. Luis Lopez chatting with Kokoska. That's Hasso, the first baseman. Guerrero ripped a double to left center in his first at-bat of the season. Skied to right his second at-bat. Looks at a breaking ball outside, ball 1. They play Guerrero straight away. Kokoska with a lead off first. There he goes. Pitch is high. The throw down to second base, and he is safe. He beats the throw from Flores, and the Yard Goats have the tying run in scoring position.
Now the Goats, Bobby Meacham, up to their old tricks, right? 2 stolen bases in the last 2 innings for Hartford.
Base hit could tie the game as Kokoska just gets in ahead of the tag. Flores making that throw, but not in time. The 2-0 pitch misses, ball 3. So Vineyard has come on and labored. He fell behind 3-0 to Kokoska, worked the count full, and then walked him. And now he is 3-0 to Guerrero. We'll see if Bobby Meacham gives Juan the green light. Bobby's been known to do that on occasion. That pitch misses, ball 4. 4 pitches. Guerrero walks. Back-to-back walks. Schlittler obviously had reached his pitch count, throwing 82 pitches, so he was lifted with 2 outs and nobody on, Jeff, but Vineyard has come on and walked back-to-back men.
Now, Yard Goats with a golden opportunity, Dan, to strike here in the 6th inning. Still waiting for that big hit since that Kyle Queiroz home run back in the 1st inning.
Dion Jorge, 0 for 2, has struck out swinging and flied to right. Up in a big moment in this ball game. Change up, misses, ball one. Vineyard cannot find the plate. Jorge signed as an international free agent in 2022. And there's a strike. 1-1. Another off-speed pitch from Vineyard. Jorge with those 2 homers and 49 runs batted in last year at Spokane. Changeup is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. So Vineyard has not given in and thrown a fastball.
Waved in, trying to make its way around Duncan Park on this Friday nights.
Well, then you know the season has begun.
That's right. Can we be part of that?
Why not?
Right?
1-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss and another change, strike 3. So Vineyard bounces back, strikes out Jorge. The Yard Goats leave 2. 2-1 Somerset through 6. Game, 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Somerset. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the Yard Goats. We head to the top of the 7th inning on opening night, and ready to carry us home, here is the voice of the Yard Goats, Jeff Dooley.
Thanks, Dan. Victor Juarez back on the bump after striking out the side after coming in for Gabriel Hughes, who was perfect through 4. He ended up getting touch for a couple of runs in the 6th inning. First one, Villanyaso sent out towards right field. Eddie Montgomery will get that on a hop, and also aboard to begin this top of the 7th inning with a leadoff single, a little kind of flare in a short right field.
And we're going to get some activity in that Hartford bullpen, so we'll see how long Juarez stays in there. There's the first base coach, Derek Woodley. Aaron Bossy had been the first base coach the last 2 seasons, but now Woodley occupying that spot. And there's that Hartford bullpen.
And we told you earlier, Juarez was in the rotation for Spokane, so he's really kind of that long guy. Dan Meyer, the Yard Goats pitching coach, told me he'll follow Gabriel Hughes each of his first few starts, certainly through the month of April, maybe into early May, as Gabriel will be watched with a pitch count, recovering from Tommy John surgery. But, you know, Juarez is a guy that I'm sure the Rockies, they want to have him stretched out a little bit.
Yes.
It's not your typical, all right, let's try to work the bullpen in and get guys innings to pitch, or as someone that needs to build innings, because I'm sure at some point they would love to maybe get him into the rotation if there's a spot. Hartman, a strikeout and ground out tonight. Got to hold up on the swing, and I'm going to say he crossed the plane. Trevor Patience at first base says that he goes around. He's behind Victor Juarez, 1-2. Juarez, a first-year Goats. Two-time Northwest League Pitcher of the Week last year. Two-time California Pitcher of the Week back in 2022 at Fresno. We would love to add a couple of Eastern League awards to that resume. 1-2 is over but low. Missed with a slider. The count will leave it off at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one missing again, and the count fills 3-2. That was hard stuff from Juarez at 92.
Let's see if manager Raul Dominguez gambles here and decides to send Hasso on 3-2 with nobody out.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and it swung out and hit foul. That towards the second deck along the first baseline.
And wait a minute, they're going to claim interference. And so they are going to award first base to the batter, Hardman, and Hasso advances to second base. Let's watch it again.
Yeah.
Yep. That glove was out there, the mitt.
Betancourt. And catcher's interference will get Hartman first base. That'll push.
They're going to say, pitch clock violation. Yep.
Yeah, pitch clock violation.
Meanwhile, Bobby Meacham is out there, but I don't think he's out there to make a pitching change. Bobby's been in a long conversation, and now the plate umpire, Jack Wason, goes out there, and Bobby is now motioning to the bullpen. So we are going to get a pitching change here in the top of the 7th inning. And there you see it was a pitch clock violation, Jeff.
It was. So the Goats go to the bullpen here in the 7th, down by a run here in Hartford. Well, it's Alec Bargadan that comes in for the Goats.
Well, his 3rd season with the Yard Goats. Rockies organization acquired him at the trade deadline on August 1st, a couple of years back. And here he is, ready to go to work in a key moment.
And the first one to Cole Gabrielson is breaking pitch at 82.
There's Barker last year put together a solid season for the Yard Goats, 4-1 record.
Swing and a miss. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike.
Thing about Barker, he'll come right at you. He was one of the top pitchers in the Southern League when the Rockies acquired him from the Braves at that trade deadline in 2023.
step off, trying to work around some seventh inning traffic. You just have to love the mentality of a relief pitcher, right? Coming in to inherit guys in a tight game. Big swing and a miss at 96, and Parker coming across some pretty good heat. As he gets the strikeout, Gabrielson is gone, and that's the first out of the seventh inning. A big one, Dan. A double play, and the Goats are back in the dugout.
Well, that is a big out, but now he's got to contend with the lower portion of the order, and it's been that portion of the batting order which has wreaked havoc on the Yard Goats.
Yeah, Martin, Vargas, and Gatewood all reaching in the sixth inning and led to 2 runs. A foul off and off-speed pitch by Barger, and strike one. Barger, 27 years old. Check to first base, and Patient says no. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Barger in his 3rd season as a Goat, acquired in a trade from the Atlanta Braves. The next one just missing in '89. Lefty Brad Hand, originally Atlanta's 17th round pick in 2019 out of NC State. This is Alex's 6th season in the minors. No one popped out of the mid of the catcher, Betancourt. The runners will advance as Betancourt has problems with it. The pass ball will get Hasso to third base and Hartman to second base, and suddenly Somerset a hit away from getting some pretty good insurance here in the 7th inning.
That changes this entire inning around, and the Yard Goats have to bring the infield in. You had said the Yard Goats were a ground ball away from getting out of the inning with a double play, and now suddenly there's runners at second and third. Infield is drawn in, and remember, that's how the Patriots scored their first run on a hit against a drawn-in infield.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Gatewood came through, drawn in infield, a 2-run single. 3-1, fouled back to the screen, and it's filled now 3-2. Foul back to the home plate area.
This is really a big test now for Barger.
This one is Luke foul. Back to the screen behind the plate, and the count fills 3 balls, 2 strikes. Martin singled and scored in the 6th inning. This one hit him.
That's a pitch clock violation.
Wow, a pitch clock violation.
Second violation called on a Hartford pitcher this inning.
And that's how Hartman got the first base, so we'll see what Bobby Meacham does here as Martin reaches on the pitch clock violation.
If it means anything, that would have been ball 4 anyway.
Right. Bases loaded, 1 away, and there was the guy that came into the game last inning defensively, Max Burt from North Andover, Massachusetts. That's hit towards right. Montgomery dropping back to make the catch. Also will tag and head home, and with that, a sac fly by the New England kid, Max Burt, and it's a 3-1 lead now for Somerset.
Isn't that always the case?
Yep.
Player they add to the roster at the last instant has an impact on the game. And Max Burt has delivered a big insurance run, and Hasso crossing the plate. Montgomery making that catch in right field.
And Hartman on the throw goes from second to third. So runners at the corners now. Jake Gatewood, the hitter. Pitch up high for a ball. Next one is 1 ball, 1 strike. One big swing and a miss. And the count goes to 1-2. Coach trying to rally here. One is up high. The count 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3-1 Somerset leading Hartford. 3 runs on 5 hits for the Patriots, a run on 3 hits for the Yard Goats. Gabriel Hughes was perfect. Goats pitching was perfect heading to the 6th inning. Ground ball to deep shortstop by Torres on through for a hit. Scoring in the play is Hartman. And it's now 4-1 Somerset. RBI single by Jake Gatewood, who drives in his 3rd run of the game.
Well, Gatewood has done it at the plate, in the field. He gets that base hit past Torres. That is a huge run. Suddenly, Somerset has a 3-run cushion as Gatewood picks up, as Jeff said, his 3rd run batted into the game.
Martin on the plate, taking second base. Jesus Rodriguez, the batter, and takes outside for a ball.
And Jeff, you go back to that passed ball with Martin at the plate that changed the entire inning around, I think.
Fly ball hit well towards right. Montgomery heading back towards the track in front of the fence. He pulls up and he makes the catch. Rodriguez gives it a ride, but it's an out to end the inning. But the Patriots add 2, middle of 7 here in Hartford. Somerset 4 and the Yard Goats 1.
All right, we had all winter to rehearse. Let me hear you.
Well, it's time for our game summary as we take a look at opening night here from Duncan Park. How about a home run to start things for the Goats in the 1st inning? Kyle Caro's going deep. And Gabriel Hughes got off to a great start. 3 punch-outs over the first 4 innings. He was perfect over 4 innings. He would leave the game and turn things over to Victor Juarez, who struck out the side in the 5th, but in the 6th inning, gives up 3 straight hits, including a 2-run single to Jake Gatewood. And that would put Somerset up 2-1. We go to the 7th, and the Yankee affiliate adds 2 more, a sac fly, and as Jake Gatewood, RBI hit again. He has driven in 3 of the 4 runs for Somerset. The Patriots at a 4-1 lead as we head to the last of the 7th inning. Mason Vineyard back to pitch for the Somerset Patriots, who now have a 3-run advantage against the Yard Goats, and first day of baseball for the Goats here in 2025. We'll be facing bottom 3rd for Bobby Meacham's club. The catcher Brian Betancourt, will see him first. Betancourt, Torres, and Hill, the 3 scheduled for the Goats here in the 7th inning. Vineyard pitched around some 6th inning traffic, worked around a couple of walks last inning. Betancourt is in. Vineyard's first pitch to him is a curveball that hooks in for a strike, 0-1.
Jeff, there is bullpen action for the Yard Goats, so we will see a new pitcher in the top of the 8th inning.
Airmailed all the way to the backstop, and it slipped out of his hand, and the fans will get on Vineyard. Yeah,
whoa.
That's why it's good to have the net back there, right? You want a baseball, that's not the way you want to receive it. There's some activity in the Yard Goats pen out left. Lefty's up and loosening.
Looks like Sam Weatherby.
I'm excited for him this season, a first-year Goat from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yep, that's Weatherby.
He is thrilled to be here. Those guys that were at Spokane last year helped the Indians win the championship. Swing and a miss. And 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Goats catcher. They were hoping to get up at some point. Some did, others didn't. But the ones that didn't got a chance to celebrate a league championship.
That's right.
Pretty cool at any level.
It sure is.
Vineyard set of the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3 when reaching for the slider. Did Betancourt. He strikes out for a 2nd straight at bat. 2nd consecutive K for Vineyard, and it's 1 away here in the 7th inning.
Well, Vineyard did a good job of just extending that zone, extending it to make Betancourt reach for the pitch, and that's just what he did.
Here's the pitch to Jose Torres. It's up high for ball 1. That misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Infield backed up, outfield is straight away. Ground ball pulled foul towards the Yard Goats dugout. It's 2 balls and a strike to Torres. G.J. Hill waiting on deck. And then the top of the Yard Goats lineup. And is low, and the count is to 3-1 in favor of Jose Torres. He's been on base twice on 2 walks tonight.
He's been a busy man in the field, too, particularly when Gabriel Hughes was pitching. He had 6 assists in the first 4 innings of the game.
And all over the place. And he takes the next one outside ball 4. Nice eye, good at bat by Torres. Works the walk. Walked all 3 at bats.
How about that? I mean, 3 walks for him tonight. 3 out of the 5 walks surrendered by the pitching staff.
So third baseman Jesus Rodriguez comes in, that left foot on the green grass. Now the DH, G.J. Hill. He hacks away and comes up empty, strike 1. This one swing and a miss, and the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Dan, Yankees manager Aaron Boone mentioning the other day that Clark Schmidt will pitch this weekend against the Yard Goats for Somerset at Duncan Park. The Yankees haven't officially said which day he'll pitch, whether it would be tomorrow or Sunday, but Yankees skipper saying that they'd love to get him back mid-month, and he'll need 2 starts in the minor league. So I think if we see him, and it sounds like we will either tomorrow or Sunday, that he's probably going to be out there for, I would think, 4 or 5 innings right there if they want to get him back.
Well, I would think so. He is recovering from rotator cuff tendonitis and was set back in spring training because of that. The Yankees need Schmidt.
Yeah.
Their starting rotation is very thin at the moment.
I mean, I wouldn't think it'd be just 2 innings for him. I think he would go out there and face the lineup, try to put up zeros as Hill takes outside of the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, particularly since, I don't know if you heard it, but I heard Boone say they're figuring 2 starts for
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yep.
And then he'll be back in the big leagues.
Yeah, they said about the 15th or 16th. Next one in out of the glove of Flores. Holding at first base is Torres. He won't move with the Yard Goats down 3 runs.
And he could very well be inserted into the number 3 spot in the Yankee starting rotation. You know, the Yankees went into spring training thinking that their starting staff was going to be deep. What are they going to do with Marcus Stroman? Well, now Marcus Stroman is a key component in that starting rotation.
Well, bounced fouls. Talking to some of the Yard Goat hitters about that. If they change anything knowing they're facing a big leaguer, because then it's basically for the minor league guy, it's a win-win, right? If he gets you out, well, it was supposed to happen. If you get a hit, it's for a great cause. And, well, they said, no, you don't change anything. You just go out and you try to do your thing. And they're going to call a balk. Has been called on Vineyard. So he'll balk Torres to second base. Home plate umpire got Lawson all over it. See if we see it here. And right away.
Well, we've seen a balk, 2 pitch clock violations in the last couple of innings.
Hill, the son of former big leaguer Glenn Allen Hill. He's low, scooped out of the dirt by the catcher Flores. And it's filled now 3-2.
Jeff, I mentioned earlier, I broadcast games in which Jay's dad played. Glenn Allen was playing for the Syracuse Chiefs when I was broadcasting for the Richmond Braves, and Syracuse at that time was the AAA affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays.
3-2, good eye at ball 4. So back-to-back walks for Goat hitters 8 and 9, and suddenly Cole Carrick walks towards home plate, knowing he has the potential tying run, Dan, and he's got certainly the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
He does, and here comes Raul Dominguez, and obviously he's going to make a change here. Vineyard has faced 6 batters dating back to last inning, and he walked 4 of them. His night is finished as Dominguez goes to the bullpen.
Now, pitching change coming to you from Duncan Park in downtown Hartford, with Somerset leading 4-1 here on NESN. Jordani Ventura is the new pitcher on. 4-2 last year, 2.96 earned on average, 55 strikeouts in 48 innings. Ventura was with Brooklyn and then went up to St. Lucie. And the New York Mets organization now trying to make it down with the other New York team, the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees seem to have lost a couple of players to the New York Mets during the offseason. One whose name escapes me, Sosa, yeah.
Yeah, is that it? Yeah.
Yes. So anyway.
Is that where he went to the Mets?
I think he went to the Mets. Raul Dominguez just came out, said something to the umpire, and now it has something to do, I think, with the glove that Ventura was using, and so he's going to get another glove, which I find absolutely fascinating because no one said a word about the glove Gabriel Hughes was using, and he had leather strings dangling all over the place, and Ventura gets a new glove.
And they're going to go over signs. He and the catcher, Rafael Flores. And Cole Carrick, I mean, the heat of the order is due up. Goats have their bats with Carrick, followed by Benny Montgomery with one away here in this 7th inning. In Hartford looking for their big hit again. They've had some chances. They have left men on base. The big hit coming in the 1st inning for Hartford, a Kyle Karros home run, but nothing since. And now Cole Carrick steps in with 2 on and 1 out. And Ventura's first pitch to Cole is up high for ball 1. He started him with a slider. Carrick a strikeout, a double, and a ground out. Switch hitter again, batting left side against the righty. Swings here and misses. A breaking pitch.
Well, he's keeping his pitches low, trying to throw a ground ball here as the Patriots are hoping to turn a double play. Yard Goats hoping to get back into this game.
Swing and a miss. And the slider that time from Ventura, and it's 1-2.
Ventura's not wasting any time.
No. Attacking Carrick. It's way outside track nicely. The changeup that time for the righty. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Crowd making noise for Cole Carrick and company, shouting, "Let's go Yard Goats." On opening night 2025 at Duncan Park here in downtown Hartford. Jeff Dooley, Dan Laval, thanks for tuning in to Yard Goats Baseball in Nesson. We've got you tomorrow and Sunday as well. There's a ground ball right side. That's Max Burt to second for 1. That's all they get, the middleman. No shot to get Cole Carrick, who is racing up that line. Fielder's choice made, and Hill, the middleman, is erased for 6.
Well, that ball hit on the ground, and as you said, absolutely no chance. And so, doing the wise thing, the Patriots held on to the baseball.
Well, now it'll be up to Benny Montgomery. Goats looking for some 2-out thunder. Benny hit a home run his first ever game here last year. 0 for 3 tonight. 2 strikeouts and lined into a double play. He bats with runners at the corners. Goats down 4-1 here in the 7th. Lunges for the first one and misses. Strike 1. Fastball 93 from Ventura.
Benny has an interesting style at the plate. He has a very wide stance, but then as the pitch is delivered, he kicks that front leg back.
Time takes a slider in for a strike. It's 0-2.
He kicks the leg back so that then he can transfer his weight forward. But look at how wide that stance is.
Gets into that load position. Trying to battle here with 2 strikes against Ventura. He swings and misses. Another good-looking slider, and Montgomery strikes out to end the inning. So the Goats' threat goes by the boards. Hartford Strands 2-7 complete. We head to the 8th. Somerset 4 and Hartford 1 here at Duncan Park. Now it's a new lefty that is chewing the goats this season. Sam Webley in the game for the Yard Goats, Dan, and he'll try to minimize the damage here in the 8th inning.
Now, he was the Rockies' 3rd-round draft pick in 2022 out of Clemson. First season with the Yard Goats, his 5th in minor league baseball, and here he is about to make his Hartford debut.
He'll be up against one of the good Yankee prospects, Spencer Jones, who shoves the first one foul back into the seats. Carter ended up pitching the 7th inning. Gave up a couple of hits, but no runs. Weatherly, 5th season in the minors. Next one missing, and a ball and a strike. 3rd-round pick. California League Pitcher of the Week back in July 11th of last year. Rockies' number 12 prospect, according to MLB.com. The next one a little bit low, and off speed pitch, and the count goes to 2-1. And you can never have enough pitching, Dan. I guess you can never have enough left-handed pitching.
No.
And a swing and a miss. A speed pitch that time. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And this is a good test for Spencer Jones, because if he wants to take his game to the next level, he's going to have to prove that he can hit left-handed pitching.
And it's up high and hit him, actually.
Yep.
Fastball at 94 to get Spencer Jones. He is hit by the pitch, and he is aboard to begin the 8th inning. Dan, this is the 3rd straight inning that the Patriots have had the leadoff hitter aboard.
And that's not a good sign. I mean, in the 6th, Martin began the inning with a single, and that started a 2-run inning. Hasso began the 7th with a single, and that started a 2-run inning, and now Jones is aboard. Yard Goats infield looking to play Flores to pull, hoping to turn a double play here.
It's taken outside at 93 for Rafael Flores. Flores a couple of strikeouts and a ground out.
I mean, look at the hole on the right side of that infield for Flores. There's nobody on the right side of the infield.
Yeah, if you go against your hitting charts here, you could easily single through that right side.
Now Jorge's moving a little bit.
Healthy cut. Couldn't get the fastball at 94, and it's 1-2.
That was a nice pitch by Weatherly. He went right at him. Attack, attack. I'm looking at Weatherly on his forearm there, and he has the information that he uses for the hitters when he's a catcher, and he wears that even when he bats.
The 1-2 pitch, and that's laced into left field for a base hit. Now, that time Weatherly gets too much of the plate in the 1-2 pitch, and it's a solid single by Rafael Flores. And here come the Patriots now looking to add on to a 4-1 lead with 2 on and nobody out here in the 8th.
Fastball right out over the plate as Guerrero fields the ball in left. Jones stopping at second. And you mentioned the woes the Yard Goats have had the last 3 innings. I'm not surprised Hasso didn't bunt here.
Yeah.
They're swinging away.
Hasso does have a hit in 3 at-bats. He Singleton scored in the 7th inning. It's one towards right. And Montgomery backing up, has a beat on it. He'll get there and make the catch, but Jones will tag and easily go from second to third. So the first out of the 8th inning.
Well, Jones certainly doesn't need that many steps. He covers a lot of ground. There's Montgomery making the catch, but Jones, who goes at 6'7", is just a few strides into third base. That's all it takes for Spencer.
Now the DH, Tyler Hartman. Hartman reached on a fielder's choice and scored his last time. Before that, a ground out and a strikeout. Actually, pitch clock violation is how he reached. As takes the pitch a little bit high for ball one.
Well, you have to watch out for Hardman. He's dangerous. He has power.
He does. Tracks the next one outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, you were running down some of the numbers before, how Somerset has won all these series against the Yard Goats in the history of these two franchises. But how about the home runs? Last year, the Patriots homered 26 times in 17 games against Hartford.
It's a lot of home runs.
Yep.
The baby Bombers, Dan, right?
That's right. Here at Duncan Park, since 2021, they have hit 66 homers at Duncan Park.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, Ben Rice. Remember they had that first game here?
Yes.
And it was cool for him being a Massachusetts kid that played collegiately at Dartmouth. I'm sure he had tons of friends and family here. He had a couple of home runs his first game here. A star in the making. Now the 2-2 pitch en route. Swinging a foul tip at home plate. Strike 3, actually missed the ball, so it's the strikeout for the Goats left-hander, and it's going to be the second out of the inning.
First base was occupied with less than 2 outs, and so Betancourt did not have to make a throw down to first.
Sam Weatherly trying to get out of the 8th inning jam with runners at the corners, and Gabrielson falls the first one back. He's 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. Patriots, the Yankees affiliate, leading by 3 here in the 8th inning. It's outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. It's in for a strike. Change up that time from Weatherly. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That was an excellent pitch to throw on 1-1. And I think it surprised Gabrielson. I think Gabrielson was expecting a fastball, and Weatherly comes up with a change.
Weatherly 5-1, a 2.22 earned run average, 40 appearances between Spokane and Fresno last year. The pitch is a ball. They'll throw it on to second base as Flores will swipe the bag. He was often moving on the pitch.
They were hoping to draw a throw, and then they would have sent Jones down from third, but the Yard Goats didn't bite as that pitch tailed away. That pitch had a lot of movement to it.
Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Gabrielson strikes out, so no. Weatherly does a good job as he wiggles off the hook. Middle of 8. Goats trail 4-1 here in Hartford. Valley Sports Live is your home for minor league baseball all season long. Watch every game live at no cost in the MILB Zone. Test your skills and earn rewards in the Game Center. Buy tickets to watch your favorite teams. Valley Sports Live is the perfect companion for the minor league baseball fan. Step up to the plate and download the Valley Sports Live app today. Jeff Dooley, Dan Lavallo from Duncan Park. Good to have you with us for Yard Goats Baseball. On this Friday night, opening night 2025. Hartford, the short end of the count, trailing 4-1 as we go to the last half of the eighth inning. Kyle Karros, who's provided Hartford's only run with a home run in the first inning, will lead things off for the hometown team. And he takes a slider that's in for strike one.
The Yard Goats have only 3 hits in the game, and they have not had a hit since the 3rd inning.
A line drive down the left field line, heading towards the corner. It's in for a hit. Garrett Martin will play it on a hop. Karros heading to second base. Had a AAA this year. Sometimes you get caught up in a numbers game. Costa, 22 doubles, 20 homers, 67 RBI in a Goats uni last year. Swings here and hits one to right field, but didn't get all of it. It's a short fly ball to Cole Gabrielson, who comes in and makes the catch. Puts away Kokoska, who gets under it too much, and he's the first out of the eighth inning.
Number 13, Juan Guerrero.
It sounded as if it might travel a pretty good distance, but then it died out in right field for Gabrielson. Kokoska just getting under it.
Juan Guerrero. Been on base, a double and a walk tonight. Swings here, and it's a routine ground ball to shortstop. Gayward has a problem with it and can't field it cleanly. And Guerrero will reach, and suddenly, Dan, the Goats will bring the potential tying run to the plate here in the eighth inning.
I think Gatewood was distracted by Karros. Look at that. Karros did everything right, and I think he just obscured the vision of Gatewood, and that's a break for the Yard Goats.
Sure is.
Waiting for a ruling. Meanwhile, the Goats are in business here.
Dion Jorge, the hitter. Runners at first and second base. And the pitch outside for ball one.
Ventura's going to try and keep his pitches low. That's been his modus operandi and facing the Yard Goats batters since coming on last inning. Keeps the pitches low. He's going to be trying to throw a ground ball here.
Jorge up in a big spot. It was a fielding error, by the way, charged to Jake Gatewood. So E6, putting runners at first and second base. Next one is over but low, and the count's 3-0. 3-0 pitch, not even close. Ball 4, and how about this? With 1 away here in the 8th inning, the Yard Goats will have the bases loaded. Here comes Brian Betancourt.
That's the 7th walk given up by Somerset pitching. That's a lot of walks.
Well, it is, but the Goats have to cash in there. They have not been able to catch the clutch hit with so many runners on base with a free pass. Maybe their hit will come during the 8th inning.
There's Peter Larson, the pitching coach, trying to settle Ventura down. Meanwhile, there's some stirring in that Somerset bullpen with the Yard Goats having the makings of a big inning here. And Larson's doing all of the talking. Nobody's warming up yet, but they're stretching, getting ready to loosen. So something's up in that Somerset bullpen. Among those out there is Cohen Harrison.
The catcher, number 9, Brian Betancourt.
And there's Larson heading back to the dugout.
So Brian Betancourt will step in for the Goats with the bases loaded. 1 away, down by 3. And he takes the first one, a slider in for strike 1. That was a big pitch by Ventura. Jordani, 24 years old and 8 months. Next one, all the way to the backstop. It's in play, racing home is Karros, and he dives head first with a second Yard Goats run. And a gift-wrap run here in the 8th inning, and it's a 4-2 game on a wild pitch. Karros scores.
And everybody moves up so a base hit could tie the game. Ventura's trying to be too fine with his pitches.
You have to watch that, though. That ball can ricochet, come right back to you. It's in play. And it was a fastball that got by the glove of Rafael Flores. But you're right, a single could tie the game now for Betancourt with 2 in scoring position and only 1 out. That's outside, tracked nicely, a changeup that time of Ventura. And Betancourt has the count his way, 2-1. It's fouled back towards the second deck. Betancourt, first-year Goat, Double-A debut, trying to make it happen here tonight. He was invited to Major League Spring Training by the Rockies as a non-roster player. Spent last season at Spokane, up in a big spot here in the 8th. Takes the next one outside, has worked at full now, 3-2. Ventura missing with a fastball at 95.
Well, the bullpen has not done a job at all for Somerset, and somehow they're still leading by 2 runs.
Guerrero at third base. And Jorge is at second. Here's the 3-2. Over but low, ball 4. Wow, another walk. Second straight, Dan. And the Goats will have them loaded up now for a Jose Torres.
8 walks now for Somerset pitching. The Yard Goats have to take advantage of this because although they only have 4 hits in the game, you add the 8 walks in there, and suddenly you're faced with a golden opportunity to not only tie this game but take the lead.
Torres up in a big spot with the bases loaded. He swings here, loops one towards left. It's in for a hit. It will tie the game. Guerrero is in. Jorge heading in. He will dive in with a game-tying run. It's a 2-run single by Jose Torres. And we hit reset. It's 4-4 here in the 8th inning.
Have a game. Jose Torres, looks how he just lofts it beyond Rodriguez. And Bobby Meacham never hesitated, waving Jorge home. Guerrero scored easily, but there is Meacham saying to Jorge, come on in, come on in. And we've got a tie game.
Now Somerset in this 8th inning is giving back a 4-1 lead. Betancourt on the play. Going from first to second base. He's the potential go-ahead run. And now G.J. Hill. Goats showing their ability to come back in day 1. How long do you stick with Ventura? That's in for strike one.
I would think this is his last batter, unless he gets him out.
He has thrown 26 pitches now. Came in last inning.
Now, you can't keep walking batters
Right.
and not expect to pay the price at some point.
There's a ground ball towards first base, scooped up by Hasso. Go to second for one, back to first, not in time. Middleman is erased. Torres. Betancourt goes from second to third as Hill beats the throw back to prevent the inning-ending double play.
What a great spot now for Cole Carrig.
You're not kidding, Dan. A lot of hype around Carrig, and he cranked a double earlier in this game. He is 1 out of 4 tonight, doubled back in the third inning, but
Meanwhile, a look at G.J. Hill, who reached on that fielder's choice, but Carrig with an excellent opportunity to give the Yard Goats the lead.
Carrig, former start, San Diego State is up with runners at the corners, game tied 4-4. And tracks the first one, a changeup outside for ball one. Carrig, tremendous numbers last year in A-ball. Ian Karros doing a bulk of that offensive damage for the Indians in a Northwest League championship. They want the magic to happen here this season. He swings and it's a soft ground ball foul, third base side, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Jeff, as you know, during media day the other day, one of the common questions to each of these players was, what do you hope to accomplish individually? And to a man, the player said, well, I'm not worried about individual stats.
Yep.
All I want to do is win. Well, Carrig is in a situation now where he can help his team win.
And they talked about how they really enjoy each other and they like to pull for each other as well. Runners at the corners for the Goats center fielder. And now the pitcher, Ventura, steps off. That'll force Betancourt to return. The crowd here wanted.
Well, there is a pitch clock violation, so they just put a ball on the count. It's 2-1. But you could see he's trying to force him into a balk as Betancourt.
Yeah, crowd wanted the balk. Didn't get it. Got a pitch clock violation, as Dan mentioned. It's 2-1 to Carrig. Swings here and rolls a foul. Right at home plate, and the count will leave it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carrig last year named Baseball America High A All-Star. Was a Northwest League postseason All-Star and a 3-time Player of the Week in a monster season last year at Spokane. He'd love to come through with a hit here to put the Yard Goats ahead. Here's the 2-2. Misses low, nearly lost his balance, did Cole Carrig. As he works at full now, 3-2. That was the slider that time from Jordani Ventura.
Well, that'll release Hill from first base.
Runners at the corners with 2 out. Hartford 4, Somerset 4 in the 8th inning. There's the 3-2, swinging a foul straight back. Drama unfolding here at Duncan Park in game 1 of 69 this season here in Hartford. This has been a fun one at opening night 2025.
You mentioned Ventura with his pitch count, though. It's up to 31.
Yeah, I would think if Carrig reaches, that is going to be the evening for Ventura.
Well, Carrig is the 8th Yard Goat to bat this inning.
When the inning began, the Goats were behind 4-1. Now it's 4-4. Cole Carrig trying to put his team in front for the first time since it was 1-0. Again, the 3-2 pitch. Inside. Oh, Blake, strike 3. Carrig tried to get out of the way, but it catches the strike zone of Jack Wasson, who's the home plate umpire. Crowd doesn't like it. It is a strikeout to end the inning. Wow. Pretty good looking pitch by Ventura. We head to the 9th, tied at 4. Goats stand to take things over for Hartford, and he becomes the 5th pitcher used by Bobby Meacham.
And Mason, a 6'1", 195-pound left-hander from Lenexa, Kansas, 26 years of age, 12th round draft pick in 2021 between Spokane and Hartford last year. He had a 10-6 record.
Garrett Martin will see him first. Attacks the first one. It's a foul for strike one. Now the Goats showing a nice character. Come back down 4-1 late in the game, plating 3 in the 8th inning, and evening things at 4 aside. Slider missing that time at 86, and a ball and a strike to Martin. He had a hit in his middle at bat in the 6th inning and scored. Swings here, and a weak ground ball back to the mound. Speared by Green. He'll flip to the first baseman, Kokoska. Martin is gone for the first out of the 9th inning. And we could see some drama in the bottom of the 9th inning on opening night here at Duncan Park.
You're reading my mind, Jeff. Looking ahead to the last of the 9th, Montgomery, Karros, and Kokoska, the numbers 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up for the Yard Goats.
Max Burt, the hitter. New England native takes strike one. Burt played at Northeastern in Boston, as did his starting pitcher tonight, Cam Schlittler, who did a really nice job in 5 2/3 innings, gave up just a run. 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. He was losing the game early, but ended up leaving in the 6th inning with a 2-1 lead, but he won't get the win because the game is tied now. Fastball just outside at 93. Not a bad spot for Green to work at. And it's 2-1. Boy, that just missed. Where? A pop up. Right side. Oh, wow. Good effort by the catcher, Betancourt. Tried to get to it. He could not.
Anytime I see a play like that, I will always think of Kyle Datras making a backflip into the dugout and grabbing the baseball against this team.
Yeah.
It was against Somerset.
One of the greatest catches you'll ever see. And Datras, I mean, for a moment, he did think that he knocked himself out, and he somehow made the catch. Next one a little bit low. The count fills 3-2. Datras got a job at spring training. He was with another club. He was with Cleveland.
Good for him.
Cleveland Guardians, and the last I checked, he was on their Double-A roster in Akron. Not sure if that changed. That was during spring training. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Then hacked by Burt, but he couldn't get the Mason Green fastball. 2 batters, 2 out here in the 9th inning.
Green coming right at him, and Burt not laying off on that high fastball. Nice start for Green here.
Jake Gatewood is the batter, and he takes up high for a ball. This one is up high. The count 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, he's got to come in with a fastball here.
He does, right? He gets the strike call, and it's 2-1. That is up high, and the count goes to 3-1. Is outside ball 4, so a 2-out walk to the 9-hole hitter. Gate will take the free pass and head up the first baseline.
Well, Gatewood's had a nice game hitting out of the 9-hole. Couple of hits, a walk, 3 runs batted in. He's a big reason this game is tied at 4-4.
Jesus Rodriguez, the hitter now. Infield back, and a ground ball played either first or second base. Takes the First one, a slider outside for ball one.
Now Mason suddenly having a difficult time locating the strike zone. He's pitching away but not catching the corners.
I wonder if Gatewood would run here, try to get him in a scoring position.
Can't rule it out.
Well, there was a lefty pitching. It's fouled straight back, and the count, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, it is a tough situation with a left-hander, right-handed batter at the plate. But sometimes you take a chance.
Maybe being the road team.
Yes.
Raul Dominguez will do that. We'll see if he runs here on 1-1. Rodriguez does have a hit, or maybe a safer bet could be a hit and run. He does not run, and the next pitch is fouled off, and now Mason Green in the driver's seat, a ball and 2 strikes.
He might be running here.
Being held at first base by Zach Kokoska, who was due up third next inning. He led the league in home runs last year. Could we see some drama in the bottom of the 9th inning? Stay tuned. That's outside and out of the glove of Ryan Betancourt, and it's 2-2. Check on Gatewood. He is back okay.
Green had a notion that Gatewood might be running.
Now the 2-2. That's low. Dug out of the dirt nicely by Betancourt. And it's filled now 3-2.
Well, now we know that Gatewood is running.
Yeah. We'll be moving on this one for sure. Mason Green looking towards first base. Here's 3-2 pitch is fouled back to the seats. Rodriguez, non-roster invite to Major League Spring Training. 3-2 is low ball forward, just missed. Fastball 91, and now Green has to do some pitching because he has to work around 2 walks and now runners at first and second base. He'll get a visit from his catcher.
That's the 4th walk given up by Hartford pitching tonight.
A lot of walks in this game.
Well,
I think that's why the game is dragging a little bit.
That's a good point. We've had a total of 12 walks in the game. And that'll do it. The pitch count is way up there for both teams. The most effective numbers came from starter Gabriel Hughes tonight. 4 perfect innings, struck out 3, threw just 52 pitches over those 4 innings. But it's been a challenge for the other pitchers tonight. Cam Schlittler did a nice job. The starter for Somerset, 5 2/3, 1 run, 3 hits. And he threw 82 pitches over those 5 2/3 innings tonight.
The other problem, Dan, and Green retired the first 2, a weak ground ball and a strikeout, but now with 2 walks, you have to face Spencer Jones with 2 on.
And he's been held in check tonight.
It is a lefty-lefty matchup. Jones swings and misses late in the fastball from Green, strike 1.
Tied him right up. Excellent position on that pitch.
Spencer hit by a pitch his last at bat by Weatherly, and previous at bats, a ground out, and he strikeout. Snicks on his low, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike.
Almost appears as if Green is having difficulty with his release point.
Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Slider that time. Good looking pitch by Green, who gets in the driver's seat. Now Spencer Jones will back away and collect his thoughts.
That's one of the best pitches he's thrown. Excellent slider. He might come back with the same pitch.
Yeah.
He tied him up with an inside fastball, came back with a slider.
Dangerous hitter at the plate for sure. The Yankees' number 3 prospect. 1-2 pitch just outside. Change up that time, and it's 2-2.
Pitched him away. What do you think, a fastball here?
Yeah, I do. At first base, Rodriguez. Gatewood at second. Here comes the 2-2. Wow, just missed. Crowd did not like that call. It was a fastball. I don't know. I'm not sure that at Bencourt, the way that he caught it may have cost the pitch. Perhaps it was right around where it needed to be. A really good pitch. Now it's 3-2. He can't mess around. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's fouled straight back.
That's where I thought he was going to throw the previous pitch, try to tie up Jones. He got away with one there. That was a little bit out over the plate. Not as inside as I think he wanted to get it, but he got away with the pitch as it was fouled back.
2 on, 2 out. Game tied 4-4 here in the 9th. Here's the 3-2 again. Spoiled back to the screen behind the plate. We'll do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That was a slider. This is quite a battle.
It is. Saw Mason Green last year in goat gear. 12th round pick out of Central Missouri. Happy to be back again. A deep breath, and now the 3-2. In there for a call, third strike. He punched him out with a fastball at 93. Mason Green sits down. The Indigo Diaz, the new pitcher, Dan, for the Somerset Patriots, as the Goats will try to get one to win it here on opening night.
Well, Diaz, recovering from Tommy John surgery, began the 2024 season with 3 rehab appearances for the Yankees Florida State League team, and pitched at High A Hudson Valley. And here he is trying to keep the game going for Somerset, but he will have his work cut out for him, beginning with Benny Montgomery, Jeff.
Well, the bulk of the lineup and the troublemakers due up here in this last half of the 9th inning. Benny Montgomery, his first 2 games here in Hartford, he had home runs last year. He's 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts, a double play tonight. He'll lead things off here in the 9th. And the first one to him is a fastball at 95 that's in for strike 1. Diaz came up with the Atlanta Braves organization. Now trying to make it as a Yankee. He was at Hudson Valley in 2023. Swinging a ground ball to chop to second. Next bird fields and throws and makes quick work of Benny Montgomery for the first out of the 9th inning. Kyle Karros, day at the plate, a couple of hits, including a home run and a double. He scored 2 of Hartford's 4 runs. 15 home runs last year did Karros. Swings and sends a foul back and out of play, strike one. Kyle telling me the other day that he wears the number 2 in honor of Tommy Lasorda, who is his godfather. How about that for a story?
That's a great story.
Talk about baseball in the blood. His dad, a longtime big leaguer with the Dodgers. A little bit low. 1 ball and a strike to the Yard Goats' third baseman. Takes the next one outside.
Diaz having trouble with his release point.
Field backed up. There's the pitch en route. It's swung on. There's a high drive hit deep towards left. Martin back to the track at the wall. It's gone! Kyle Karros wins it for Hartford with a walk-off home run here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Yard Goats win an opening night 5-4. Karros, welcome to Hartford, a 2-homer game to send a sellout happy. What a start to 2025 as Karros goes yard for the Yard Goats. What about that conclusion, Dan?
Unbelievable, Jeff. I mean, look at those Yard Goats. What a night for Kyle Karros. He homers in his first at-bat at the Double-A level, and his last at-bat of the game, a walk-off home run. Just an incredible ball game. So many positives. The comeback win, the pitching of Hughes, and putting an exclamation point on things is Kyle Karros. There's that home run again.
How about that?
Wow.
359 feet, 103 off the bat. I'm sure Karros will watch that a lot tonight, but he sends everyone home happy as the Goats get the win by a run. And what an impressive win for Hartford. And, you know, you often wonder what the team is going to be like facing adversity, falling behind early. The Goats had that 1-0 lead. They were down 4-1, but they battled back from behind 4-1. They tie the game. And then Karros comes up in the bottom of the 9th inning, gets into one really good, and sends it into the left field seats.
Well, Jeff, all I can say is Kyle got the memo, because we have for years talked about Friday nights being special here at Duncan Park with walk-off home runs. And Kyle Karros delivers another walk-off homer on a Friday night here at Duncan Park.
Pretty impressive. Goats and Somerset will be back here tomorrow afternoon at 1:10. Sunday's game at 1:10 as well. What a great one for the Goats. Game 1 of the schedule, and it's a W for the Hartford 9 as the Goats win it. That's going to do it from here. Special thanks to our director today, Rob Pentel, and also Scott Allo producing today's ball game. For Dan Lavallo, Jeff Dooley saying once again the Yard Goats get the win on opening night. They win at 5-4 the final score. So long from Duncan Park, everybody.